Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Finished Podcast hosted by Sean Lazarus. We got a special guest with us today. It's Reckless Ryan Attebery, MMA fighter out of California. He's going to talk to us a little bit, tell us where he's from, what he's doing, what he's all about. Ryan, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right. So, look, I put a little post on. I had some people hit me back, and you were one of them, man. And, I'm glad to have you on. I'm always glad to get some, fresh faces on here and just kind of tell people what's going on, man. And I guess, I'm going to let you kind of have the floor, man. Just tell us, first off, I guess, where are you from? What are you all about? What's going on with you?
I'm from the 209, Nick Diaz,
Okay.
I'm from California. Um, yeah, man. Basically, I've been training off and on since I was a little kid. Didn't really have the money for it, but now the last 10 months I fought 3 times. So
Okay.
definitely, and I went 2-1 in those 3 fights. So definitely getting my feet wet. Definitely active. Definitely getting my feet wet.
What'd you train to, what disciplines did you train when you were younger?
I started off with boxing.
Okay.
Yeah, I would always say how I didn't want to wear tights because wrestling wasn't cool, and now now I regret not wrestling throughout school. But yeah, I was always boxer. I was always in and out of boxing gyms.
So
Did
what
whatever.
what kind of made you do the transition once you got older into doing MMA?
Honestly, man, I fell in love with MMA around the Tito Ortiz era.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So basically, I always loved it. I always liked it. I just didn't really understand the how important wrestling was and stuff like that. But boxing never really it was fun to me, but it was never really the most entertaining.
yeah.
So I love the fact that in MMA I could pretty much do it all. So
Yeah, yeah, that's the one thing about boxing. Unless you're really at the the elite levels, it's just so much of a back and forth chess match that it
yeah,
that it can be. Obviously, it's not boring to the guys in the ring, and there's a lot of stuff going on that a lot of people don't realize. But like to the average fan, like kind of the lower level boxing stuff, unless you're really just push forward and really aggressive, a lot of the amateur boxing fights can appear kind of slow. So I definitely understand that. Did you ever have any amateur fights or anything like that in boxing?
nah, I came from a rough background. I come from a bad neighborhood. I never really had money, so I never really had the money to pursue any career in it. The reason I was able to start fighting I started training again like hardcore probably the last 2 years, 3 years,
Okay.
and the reason I was able to do that is because I could finally afford it. I could finally push my own career. I don't really have to rely on too much people. If I want to go here, I could go there. I could do all that.
Where are you training out of? I saw it was at Team Pain is where you're training
Yeah,
out of. So
yeah. Team Pain,
tell us
Pain
about them.
MMA. We're a small team. We're pretty much tight knit. We're pretty much a family. We've been together for a while now. We have a couple of professional fighters. We got Ryan Cowboy Williams. We
Okay.
got Chilo Gutierrez, who's fighting Saturday
Yeah.
in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then we got big sexy Ricky Galvez, who's fighting for the heavyweight title next month. So it's pretty much we're not really we don't recruit too much. We're pretty much a small knit family.
Yeah.
But I also started traveling to Modesto, and I train out of Dynamic MMA now as well.
Okay. What are they about?
Uh, I'm still new to them. I've only been there for a few weeks, but
Okay. Okay.
they're a bigger, more established gym. They have pretty much everything we need. They got multiple coaches.
Yeah.
They got one of their top fighters is a flyweight, so I get to go there and get beat up by him. So yeah, so that's good. That's like the new family. It's like the adopted family. But I'm still very much with Team Pain. Still repping Team Pain to the fullest.
So I guess, man, what are your goals? What are I guess what's your 2 year plan, your 3 year plan with this sport? Like you said you fought a few times already this year. What are your goals moving forward?
I already knocked out one goal to make it to Tachi Palace Fighting. I made my debut there, so I didn't expect to do that for another year or two. I was still gonna stay amateur, but they called up, and I answered the I answered the call. So I'd say the next, just put on a winning streak.
Yeah.
I got I got my first loss in my last fight. So
So
after, excuse me.
I was just saying, go through what's the process, man? Like when you're going from when you're kind of making that transition from amateur to pro. Like, I mean, what's the transition to that? Like, is there kind of like a general number of fights you go through? Is it just based off of who you beat, how many wins you're getting, how you're doing, so on and so forth?
In my personal opinion, I think it comes more so with the training. Like I've only fought the last 10 months,
Yeah.
but I've been training off and on, like I said, since sixth grade. I started doing MMA around like 18, 19 years old. I'm 27 now.
Right.
So my I feel like my skill set could still improve, but I'm a natural striker. I'm not really scared to be hit by anyone. I got a chin on me, so I so honestly, man, I don't really know. I was expecting to stay amateur and fight for a title or two, but my second fight I broke my rib,
Ooh.
so I didn't get to fight for a title in January. And then
What was that
they just
like?
oh, that was hell. I
What
actually I fought with a fractured rib, and then in like the first 30 seconds of the fight, it broke
going into
completely.
the fight, you had already messed up your rib going into the fight?
Yeah, I broke I fractured my rib maybe a month before the fight,
Oh shit.
and then I didn't really go get it checked out. I just kind of thought it was bruised. I
Yeah.
know it was puffing out, but you know
Yeah.
my older brother and my coach were like, it's not broke, blah blah blah. And then yeah, I didn't really wrestle. I didn't wrestle like the whole camp at all. And then I ended up fighting a wrestler who was a 45er, who's two weight classes ahead of
Ooh.
me, and I'm a 25er. So once I just had to get my, I had to get once it got broke completely in the fight, it kind of had to
Yeah.
gather myself. Um, yeah, I was in horrible shape for that fight. I ended up still winning by submission, but yeah, I went through hell.
That's tough, man. That's like the definition of tough right there. Going into a
Yeah,
fight with a cracked rib. Jesus.
yeah, it wasn't the smartest idea because in the end, I ended up fighting my pro debut, somewhat hurt as well.
I've always heard, I've heard a lot of guys talk about that, during training and everything, it's just most of the time you're fighting hurt anyway, for whatever
Yeah,
reason, whether it's because of a rough camp or just, no one's really ever truly 100% when they're going into a fight, so
that's a fact.
I've heard that from the amateur level all the way up to the top level. The guys say the same thing. So
Yeah, if I were to say, I would say if they came into the fight 100% healthy, then they're probably not training as hard as we are. Like my coach is his name's the Pain. That's his nickname. That's it. You know what I mean? So it pretty much says it all. Like he puts us through hell. He makes sure that we're uncomfortable. He makes sure that we work on a lot of stuff that he's worried about. So it's like
yeah,
we don't do that pretty stuff that makes us look cool. Like we're in there grinding. We're in there, and
yeah,
I'm by far the smallest fighter. So
wow.
yeah.
So I guess so. What are you looking to do, man? As far as like some of the bigger regional promotions. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of avenues now that there didn't used to be. Even, I started watching MMA back in I don't know, about 2008, 2007, something like that. So, there's so many avenues now that there didn't used to be with the Contender Series and Ultimate Fighter and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything that you think that eventually get to that point to where
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, for sure. Cause where I'm at, where I fought my last fight, that's pretty much already the stage under UFC. Like you become someone there, you go to the UFC.
right?
Like for example, the heavyweight champion, he's fighting on the Contender Series from right there. So really, the goal would be to put on the winning streak and just get noticed. I'm already at the spot to get noticed, so I just got to do what I have to do. I Yeah, because Tachi Palace, there's so many, like Ian McCall
Yeah,
started there. A lot of fighters started there. I don't want to name drop everyone,
yeah.
but most recently too, like Alex Perez,
Mhm.
he's from the Contender. Yeah, he came
Mhm.
from top.
Mhm.
He came, So I was expecting to go pro, win a couple fights, then go to Tachi. But I made my debut there, so in my head, I'm ahead of the game. I just gotta get my wins back.
What do you feel? You said you're like a. I have to imagine. You said you're like a striker, and you kind of go in there and willing to get hit, which is kind of like that Nate Diaz style. He just kind of goes in that just throw and bang kind of thing. What would
Yeah,
you
I got
what would you say is one of your, I guess, your weakest point of the game?
Wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some submissions. Don't get me wrong. I could,
Yeah.
I'll catch you slipping and choke you.
Yeah.
But by far wrestling. That's kind of what I'm focused on right now, and that's why the gym that I go to, Dynamic MMA, this full of black belts. We're pretty much on the ground nonstop there. I'm pretty much getting beat up nonstop on the ground.
Yeah.
So it's definitely I'm very aware of it. I'm not I'm a natural when it comes to striking. Like it just comes normal. It's like second nature to me. But
I was the exact opposite. I mean, I don't have any. Don't get me wrong. I don't have any experience whatsoever. I just, I used to wrestle a little bit. Did like some grappling classes and stuff like that. So I don't want to compare myself at all. But I really like. I really lean towards more the grappling side, and it just if that part kind of felt natural to me. I remember it's a stupid little story. I remember the first guy I tapped out. We were rolling around, and I caught him in a Kimura, and I believe the guy was on like the local fight team in that school. So he got really really pissed at me,
yeah,
because he was on the fight team, and I guess he was getting ready for a fight. I don't know, within the next few weeks or something. And he got super pissed and started like hopped up and yelling and everything else, and I had no idea. Apparently, I did something wrong. I wasn't supposed to go that hard on the guy, but I
sounds
don't know.
like the dude's a bit emotional.
Probably bruised his ego a little bit.
Yeah, see, that's probably the best part about our teams is that like as our teammates and stuff, like nobody has egos. Like we can punch each other in the face and we're laughing. We're like for my home team, like for Team Pain, like
Yeah.
we're all like brothers. Like we punch each other, we argue, but once we start fighting, it's like we're good.
So
But
who do you watch? In your downtime. Who are the guys you look up to and like to see whenever they fight, you're there watching.
definitely Diaz brothers. Like I said, from 209. So,
What's going
but
on with them, man? You don't really hear a
I
whole
don't
lot
know.
from them
It kind of,
anymore. You know?
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of hurts my heart as a, because I'm a fighter. Like like I fight anyone. I fight everyone. I
Yeah.
grew up fighting. I grew up in the ghetto, so I grew up fighting nonstop. I
Yeah.
grew up in that gang neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's like to be that big. I understand. Like for Nick's probably closer to retirement. Like I get that.
Right. Right.
And then but for Nate. I think he's banking on, in my opinion, I think he's banking on McGregor too much. When he's like, you should be out there making your own name. You should be out there, like, because if Nate went out there and won a couple fights, man, like that makes that McGregor fight even bigger.
I agree, man. I tell you what, I really like the. I don't know how much you keep up with it and stuff, but uh,
Religiously,
there
I
was a
keep.
lot of back and forth with Colby and Nate, and that's something I think it'd be kind of
I watched that
interesting,
fight.
just from the sheer shit talk, just from the shit talk back and forth.
Yeah.
I think it'd be an awesome build up. But I mean, what do you think about the whole landscape of UFC and the way it's become, and how
Well,
there's a lot of purists and even a lot of fighters who they've kind of leaned more towards the entertainment side of it versus the sheer 100% competitive side of it. What are your thoughts on that?
I believe there's a place for both of them, but I feel like ever since and it's not McGregor's fault. I mean, he just did what he's supposed to do. But I feel like everyone in the UFC is on that. Oh, I want a big fight, or I want this, I want that. And it's like, just go fight, and make your fights big. That's why, like for example, with money, like I'm not in MMA for money because I believe if you win enough fights, the money will come regardless.
Sure.
So the same thing. It's like if you go win your fights, you go. Say for example, say Kobe just beat RDA. But if Tyron would have fought in the middle of that, I know he's hurt, but I'm just using it for example. If
Yeah.
he would have fought one and beat someone, then that makes that Kobe Tyron fight even bigger.
Right.
And it's like I get the entertainment part. I mean, we all want to be entertained. Like I'm not gonna say like, are we allowed to cuss on here? I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Go ahead, man. You're good.
Okay.
You're
I'm
good.
not gonna say that I'm not interested in the fuckery. Like
Yeah.
I love it all. Like I said, I'm a purist. Like I don't watch TV. I don't. All I do is pretty much it's all MMA related interviews or like Joe Rogan's podcast and just
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's like I'm a fan of it all, but I do believe that UFC's kind of in a way hurting themselves with all this, and it's like as a fan, it's like yeah, I want to go to the UFC. But it's like as a fighter, it's like Bellator's cool too, and I feel like Bellator is almost more pure at the moment.
I was actually reading the article. It's funny you bring that up. There was an article that somebody did, and I couldn't tell you who it was, but they did a talking about how from a financial standpoint, Bellator is a lot more appealing to uh, the newer fighters, the fighters who aren't as known and stuff like that. As far as money wise and getting them more money than UFC does if they're on the same level. So I found that I guess I don't know, maybe they're trying to get more homegrown talent, but I was reading where they're really trying to appeal to more of these newer fighters and
Yeah,
offering them more money than UFC can.
yeah. Plus, too, I feel like that Reebok deal hurt UFC
Yeah,
bad. Like with the sponsorship, like
yeah,
you go, and I know Dana White wants to say what he wants to say about Brendan Schaub, but I see Brendan Schaub showed the paperwork. Like
yeah,
the dude's making a lot of money off sponsors,
yeah,
and and it's like really you can't. And then in the UFC, it's like they go down to like what 5,000 if you're just a regular, like if you're just an up and coming, like you're what 5,000 for a sponsorship.
yeah, yeah,
If you're on
something
the
like that.
UFC, yeah, if you're on UFC televised, it should be 5,000 per sponsor, not just 5,000 total.
Right. What do
That's why I mean. That's why
you
I was.
keep up with all that Dana White and Brendan Schaub stuff, the Eskimo
Bro,
Brothers thing, man?
yeah, I'm telling you, I keep up with everything. I love that Eskimo Brothers line at the end.
Oh my god, dude, that stuff really turned into a just a shit show. But uh,
I follow their podcast and stuff, so I'm pretty much on top of it. Like I said, I don't have a TV show I watch every day. I just MMA all day long. Whether it comes to the mental part, the funny part. Like I said, I'm a fan of all of it. Like I don't get
yeah,
too emotional. If you can talk shit to me all you want, I'm just gonna sit here and laugh and make fun of you even more.
yeah, yeah. He was like, the crazy part is, man, with all that, the Brendan Schaub Dana White thing, like. I can't fathom, Brendan Schaub now, he's kind of an established comedian on top of everything else he does. So why would you come after somebody like him on Twitter and
Yeah, it's
just
not.
start to troll him and like he was saying on his show, Brendan Schaub's like, "Hey man, I don't work for you. You can't affect my career at all. So whatever you say, if I'm going to fire back and I don't give a fuck. Like I'm going to say whatever I want. You don't control my narrative."
You can't win with the smart asses. You see what Josh Thompson said
Um
about Dana White's been like this, and when it comes between a girl and a fighter, that Dana White seems to act very very salty about, and he didn't want to say names, but I'm pretty sure he was meaning John Fitch because he said that there's a fighter who was world champion level on top of the game, and all of a sudden was off pay per view, and then just out the UFC completely over, and it was over a girl that Dana White tried to talk to his wife or something like that. And
what?
yeah, it was on Josh Thompson's podcast. And then basically he was saying, that, yeah, I don't even know how to word it correctly, but he definitely was leading towards John Fitch. I mean, who else got fired for no reason other than Jake Shields? But
What do you think about the whole Brock Lesnar DC thing?
uh, well, like I said, there's two of me. There's the purist, and then there's the one who just loves all the bullshit.
Sure.
So I feel it's. I'll definitely watch it. I feel Curtis Blades. If we were gonna go to the purist spot, I feel Curtis Blades probably deserves the title shot.
1000%.
But then again, it's like Cormier deserves that big fight. He deserves that money. I got hella respect for Cormier. Like I've never met the guy. I don't know him. I'm not a wrestler, but it's like he's outside of John Jones. It's like he's done it all. Like he's
Yeah.
beat everyone in front of him. He's I mean John Jones is a freak. Not too many people are gonna beat that guy
Yeah.
except not him. But I feel like Cormier deserves it. He deserves that big fight. He deserves that Brock Lesnar.
I think so too, man. I think, like you said, a lot of people, I think it's kind of split right down the middle. You got, like you said, the purists, and you got some of the fighters that are really just against it because it's kind of a slap in the face to some people, and I get it. I do. I understand. And then you have some people who just kind of embrace like you said, the shit show of it. Just kind of embrace the entertainment aspect of it because, bottom line, here's how I kind of look at everything, and I've said it probably a dozen times since this happened, but you know, in my opinion, so you get guys like Brock Lesnar, and the CM Punks, and these big name guys, get them on their
Oh,
show.
I don't mean to cut you off,
Go
but
ahead.
to me, they're two totally different people.
No, you're right. No,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. No, you're right. But the perspective I'm coming from is like, you
I
get
get
these guys on your show, get the eyeballs, right? Because you know they're going to attract a certain viewership. And my thing is like the fighters that you do like, and some of these fighters on the undercard, they're going to get more exposure and possibly more pay just because they're on that card with these other guys. That's the part that I like.
yeah.
I like some of these fighters that you're getting an extra 500,000 people watching you that wouldn't necessarily be watching you unless Brock Lesnar was on that card.
Yeah, they're
You,
not even MMA fans. They're just Brock Lesnar fans. So
right, but maybe out of that 500,000, maybe an extra, I don't know, maybe an extra 10,000 out of that 500 might say, "Hey, I really like this stuff." Hey,
yeah,
what about that
yeah,
guy that was on the second match? That was a good fighter. I'm gonna start watching him. You know, I guess that's kind of the way I look at it. Like I completely understand both, and yeah, you're right. CM Punk and Brock Lesnar are two ends of the
yeah.
spectrum, but um,
Like they can say that what they want about Lesnar, but he's a fighter. I mean, the dude's a champion wrestler.
Division One, man.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he is a former UFC champion.
Yeah.
Not like that's not easy. I don't care what era it was. I don't care. I watched him take a whooping from Shane Carwin. I
Yes.
watched, you know what I mean? So it's
Yes.
like, and to me, that was one of the best heavyweight fights of all time. Like he just got his ass whooped and then flipped it around. Nobody seems to talk about it, but that was that showed you that right there. Like Brock Lesnar's a real fighter. Yeah, he's an entertainer, but the only thing I don't respect is the PEDs. Because he's obviously on them. He
Yeah.
knows he's on. Everyone else knows he's on them.
Sure.
But if Cormier is cool with it, then fuck it, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. What was they saying? What was it? It was Joe Rogan and Shaw. They were talking about it where they're talking about John Jones when it was possibly John Jones versus Lesnar, and they're just like, just let these guys juice it up and go. Just let them juice it up.
Pride,
Let them
pride room.
go. Send them out there. Send them both out there juiced up, and just let them fight and see what the hell happens.
And if they're both on juice, I'm with it.
Yeah.
It's situations like Bisbing and Belfort that kind of make me feel salty.
Yeah.
Those
I
are
agree. I agree.
yeah, like because Bisbing's for sure clean.
So I guess, man, all that aside, like what's next for you? In the immediate future, you have a fight lined up or anything coming up
Yeah,
soon?
we have one lined up. Nothing's official yet. I got a little personal issue. I gotta
Sure.
make sure I'm good to go. Nothing crazy. I didn't beat nobody's wife or nothing like
Okay, I got you. You're
that.
good, man.
Yeah, just to get that out the way. It was yeah, it's wrong place, wrong time, and I don't really talk, so it's just I got to make sure I'm able to fight. If not, I'm looking at November for Tachi, but
Okay.
as of right now, I'm looking at September 8th. Um, Supposedly I'm lined up to be co-main event
Nice,
against the
man.
yeah against the rival as well. So
Like a rival team, rival school.
no, like a rival as in like we see each other. It's not cool.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Those are
from
the best ones, man.
Oh yeah, I love those ones. Like I said, coming from where I'm from, like I'm built for this. I'm not. There's really nothing anyone's gonna say to get into my head. There's really, like I'm with all the bullshit. So
Is it different fighting somebody that say you legit dislike versus it being just for business? Are there some fights where you're kind of going in, but hey, this is business. We're gonna fight. We're both gonna make money. It is what it is. Versus, like you said, the guy who you straight up dislike. What's the
yeah,
difference?
the difference is my son and my daughter are fighting, but the difference is because my first fight I had no relation with the guy whatsoever. I mean, I still don't shake hands at weigh-ins. I still kind of make it an issue, but it's like I kind of do it on purpose. I don't have no ill feelings. So the first one was like whatever. I won by knockout in like a minute 20 seconds, 26 seconds, something like that. And then my second fight though was a torch. That's why I took the fight. That's why I didn't care if I was hurt. Dude was talking about my kids.
Oh
He was
shit!
yeah, calling my kids beaners and
What?
like, oh yeah, he took it. He took it way past MMA. Um, so like I said, I didn't shake his hand after the fight, before the fight, none of that. So for sure, there's a difference because it's like me. I'd rather there be emotion. Like I'd rather you be mad at me. I'd rather you, like the last dude I fought. He was very mature. He was in his 30s. He wouldn't even look at me, doing nothing like that, which is smart. I get it. But I'd say the biggest thing is just the mindset. You go in there. I feel like if you go in there and you don't have problems with someone, it almost makes it a little bit boring.
Mm.
just a little bit. But
Do you find that there's too much? You ever find that there's too much handshaking, too much? I mean, I get it. I get the respect aspect of it. I get that, but man, I swear, some fights I see they're shaking hands before a press
yeah,
conference. They're shaking hands during the press conference, after the
that's
press
yeah.
conference, before the weigh-in, after the weigh-in, before the fight, after the fight. Like it's sometimes I think is there just too much handshaking going on? I mean, really, you guys are gonna beat each
One
other's
hundred
asses here
percent.
in a minute. So
Yeah, 100%. Like I understand like being friendly and all that, but at the end of the day, like I'm not here to make friends.
yeah,
I'm not. Here, I'm not here to shake your hand. I'm not here to do none of that shit.
yeah,
It's too much of it. It's at the end of the fight. Yeah, you know you're gonna shake hands and be respectful. But before the fight, it's like no, I'm trying to get in your head. I'm trying to let you know I'm here to fuck you up. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm
yeah,
not here to shoot a jump shot. I'm not gonna go play football with you. Like
yeah.
I'm here to like virtually kill you. You know, and vice versa. It's like I don't understand the whole friendly thing. Like I won't make a situation work like more than what it is. Like if the dude's cool, like hey, cool, but it's like I ain't gonna shake your hand. I'm not gonna do none of that shit. It's not like that where we're from. Where I'm from, it's like you look at someone the wrong way, you get shot.
Right,
That's how. So it's like I kind of. That's why the Diaz brothers are the way they are. Is because of where we come from.
right.
And it's like it is a sport. I get it. It's a sport. But at the end of the day, it's a fight.
Yeah,
It's a
I
fight. But yeah,
agree.
there's way too much handshakes. There's way too much friendly shit going on. Fucking dogs. They ain't my dogs. But yeah, way too much of that shit going on. It's like I don't understand it because you can sit here and be best friends, but unless you're gonna go, like, I think it's people want to be comfortable. They want to be comfortable with who they're fighting with, so they touch gloves. Like, yeah, yeah, we're
Yeah,
cool. But like, nah, like, I want to punch you in the face. I want to put my fist in your face. I want to put my elbow in your face. If you're respectful before the fight, then we'll keep it respectful after the fight.
yeah,
If you know, there's limits. Like you talk shit about my kids, it's like there's problems every time I see you.
right.
But but yeah, way too much of that friendly shit, especially against people fighting each other. Like I get like some people like they want to shake hands. They can do the way they do that one handshake. But you're right, like they're hugging each other every time they see each other.
Right, yeah,
Cause it's like yeah, I like the Diaz Cerrone fights like that. But
yeah,
also it was cool to see Cerrone and Medeiros how they handled it. But to me, they weren't nut hugging each other. They were respectful. They did what they did. They showed their respect, and then it was
yeah.
war. But it's like, yeah, for sure, too many people are trying to be friends, and too many people are trying to like. My coach said it best: people touch gloves because they want to feel comfortable, and I don't want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel like your life's in jeopardy. I want you to feel like oh shit, I'm in some real shit.
I agree. No, you know what? I think you hit it right on the head, man. I think it's maybe like it's a mental thing, and maybe it's just like you said. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to make them feel. I don't know, man. It's an interesting. I've never really thought about it to that degree. Maybe it just makes them, like you said, feel more comfortable and just. I don't know. That's an interesting way to look at that.
Yeah. It's gotta be a comfortable thing. It's gotta be a comfort thing because I don't see no other like unless there's some history where like because I understand like there's times where people kind of know each other before they fight,
Yeah,
but that's why I don't really dibble and dabble outside of my teams because it's like if you're in my weight class, then like the dude I'm supposed to fight next, like we started beefing when I was fighting some other guy. I don't even know what the hell happened. I said I went. I think I said War Williams because my friend was fighting his friend, and then he was like, "What weight class you in?" Blah blah blah. And as soon as you ask me what weight class I'm in, it's like in my mind, it's like fuck you.
right,
Like fuck, like, you're asking me that for a reason, so it's fuck you. We're gonna fight.
right, 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 right.
He's big, he's a bigger 125. I don't even think he can make the weight, to be honest with you. But two out of my three fights they didn't make weight, so.
Your opponents?
Yeah, I fought my first fight. I fought at 135.
Huh?
Again, dude was damn near 6 foot, and then
Jesus.
the second dude I fought was he weighed in at like 143 pounds, 144 pounds.
But you feel better fighting at 125 versus 135?
Yeah, way better at 125. I don't feel it's amazing feeling fighting someone your size. Like, cause all my training partners are like, I have two flyweight training partners, but it's like one shows up more than the other, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like everybody else is like 55ers, and like the other day I was shooting takedowns on a heavyweight.
Jesus.
Right. Yeah, so it's like I rather it's nice to be able to throw a punch out and be able to hit him without having to fucking jump.
You fight pretty close to your weight. Like, as one, or do you? How much do you weigh usually more than what you fight at?
Like right now I'm a little heavier because I took a couple months off to finally heal that rib up.
Uh huh.
But I'll probably walk like in camp. I only had to cut like 6 or 7 pounds uh
Oh, okay,
before
yeah.
before my fight. Like I just got it down. I had to cut like 6 pounds.
That's good. That's a good night.
Yeah, so
It's a
I'm
good
pretty
night.
close. I mean, cutting weight sucks no matter how much your weight is, but
Well, it's just true.
six,
Yes,
six is
yes,
way better than 20.
yeah,
I didn't want my brother to see this and be like, because my brother was the one that helped me cut weight. I didn't want him to see this, like, bro, you're over there dying.
yeah. No, I
So
agree, man. It's rough. If it's rough either way. I've cut a few pounds before, and it's rough no matter what. But versus, I don't know how people do 15, 20 pounds over a week. I don't know how they do it.
no, no, that's
I don't think
the
it's
thing.
healthy. I don't think it should be allowed. I get they can do it, and they're under a lot of supervision, and they have a lot of, the UFC staff is there. I mean, not just UFC. There's, guys that aren't in the UFC that cut that much weight to get down like that. But I just don't. I don't agree with it.
Uh,
I don't think it should happen. I think it's dangerous.
yeah, I think people are, they want that advantage so much that they're willing to make that cost. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't blame anyone other than the fighters
Yeah.
because the fighters feel like, to me, it's their fault. It's like, for example, like you got these dudes who are in between 170, 155. That's probably one of the hardest ones. I get that. That's probably the one I understand the most.
Yeah.
But it's like fight at 170 or fight at like Kiesa. Like, why are you killing yourself to get to 55?
Yeah.
Like, and then when he missed weight for this fight, it just showed me that that's why he dropped out of the last fight because they said he messed up on cutting weight. It's like, bro, you're struggling last fight too, and you just use that as an excuse
Yeah.
to fight at 170. Like, why are you killing yourself for? Like,
And another notable guy is Kevin Lee.
Yeah.
Cutting that, like, damn well the dude's probably walking around. I'd be willing to bet he probably fights at about 190 something.
Yeah.
It cuts all the way down to 155. You could see it in his face. I'd love to see him go up to 170. I mean, I know it's probably not going to happen, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's. Go ahead,
Yeah,
man.
I think in that weight class from 70 to 55, I think if there's ever to add a weight class, it'd be a 65 division,
I agree.
and then switch both the
100%.
weight to 75. Just
100%.
because that's that one gray area where it's like, yeah, these dudes are too small for welterweights, but they're too big for lightweight.
Right.
It's tricky. I mean, it's their life, but me, like I only gained like 10 pounds in between my weigh-in and my fight. Like I fought at 135. Like I'm almost a small flyweight.
Would you consider fighting like 115 or something, or is that
Nah,
pushing it?
I'm yeah, that's pushing. I'm bigger than 115, but it's like I fought a dude who was my height, but weight wise, he just felt heavier. He just felt stronger.
Yeah.
I'm I'm not much of an eater, man. I grew up eating like we ate dinner.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
And that's
So
it. Just dinner. Yeah.
yeah, so
I appreciate you coming on. We appreciate having you on, man. It was my pleasure to kind of get you out here and get you talking. But I don't want to hold you up too much longer, man. And anything you want to say before you go, or anything like that?
nothing much. Louis World, R.I.P. to my homie Louis. He had passed away in a car accident. Pretty much, I'm scheduled to fight on his birthday on September 8th. So that's pretty big.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, and just War Chilo. He's about to go to war in San Francisco at Dragon House on Saturday. That's my brother right there.
Cool. All right,
yeah,
Chief.
man. Take care.
All right,
Thank
bud.
you.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Send me a message. I'm going to screw up your like long walks on the beach. I don't know. You never know. And please, for you audiophiles out there, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe to us. Helps out a ton.